Welcome old family and new family to Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip-hop, all culture. You're listening to one of your hosts, Brandon White, a.k.a. Bushido Garvey, as I'm known in many MC circles.
And then you listen to your second co-host, Rob Blow.
Yes. So we got a packed up syllabus for 2020. You know, it's the first show for 2020. New things, bigger things for the show and the podcast. And we appreciate all the love we got in 2019. So let's, reciprocate that love a little bit more by expanding the platform on 2020. So we'll hop right into the syllabus. So item number one, we'll be talking about the recent assassination of the Iranian military leader, right? Soelimani, I believe I'm saying his name right.
Soelimani, yep.
And then we're going to hop into the future of civics education, because Chief Justice John Roberts said something interesting about civics education.
Yep.
And then we're also going to talk about the 2019 wrap-up for all the hip-hop heads out there. You know that Uncle Murda and Skillz, Madd Skillz first, but Madd Skillz also does a 10-minute rap around like all the things that happened in 2019. We're going to talk about the rap and who had the more quality rap. I thought both came with it, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Peace to everybody listening on Facebook Live, and everybody who's going to be checking us out on social media. We appreciate you. Welcome to 2020.
2020 vision, man. So first on the list, Donald Trump's in Iran and the assassination of Soelimani. This was a crazy story to start off 2020.
Yes.
Or on the cusp of 2020. I don't know exactly, but
no, it was 20 years. It's definitely 2020. You know, it's this. For those who don't know, Soelimani was an Iranian military war hero. A war hero that served Iran the way that Iran largely wanted to be served, and also did a lot of violence and attacks towards U.S. military, and also went against a lot of U.S. military interests, right? So General Pompeo and Trump declared that it was important to kill this particular general, right? And they said that he was planning sinister acts, so they caught him with the drone, along with another leading commander of the Popular Mobilization Forces, which is basically like an Iran-supported military group that is based in Iraq. Right? It's like filled with Iraqis, but like it's supported by Iran. So again, Iran and the United States have been like banging against each other with direct violence and economic violence and political violence with each other for at least 60-70 years. And this is just another moment where that happened, but it was a dangerous moment where this happened.
Yeah. So it was important that you said that Soleimani was looked at as a national icon. In Iran. That's very important to understand. So I would like for the audience to keep that in their minds, and also the leader of the Iraqi Popular Mobilization Units in Iraq.
Right.
Was the guy named Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis.
Okay.
He was also he was also killed as well. And he was basically a popular figure as well. Not as popular as Soleimani, but very popular. Now, basically, what you have to understand is the relationship between Iran and the United States to understand the full picture of what's going on right now, up to now. So if you go back into 2001, when I believe maybe George Bush was president or something like that, right? You see that Iran actually worked with the United States to help invade Afghanistan. Back in 2001. And then in 2002, George Bush basically pushed away from Iran by saying that Iran is a member of the Axis of Evils. I don't know if that was like a famous quote or something like that. And then 2011, the United States withdrew from Iran. That's when Obama was in power, right? At the time, he was president. And you had your little beefs and quarrels amongst that region in the Arab Springs, things of that nature. And So with this assassination of both of these figures, Soelimani, both Soelimani and Mr. Al Mohandes, that basically caused a big, huge rift with the proxy capabilities, as people say, and the policy over there.
And when proxy is basically you know, banging out wars in countries outside of your own country. Yep. You know what I'm saying? For your own country's interests. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. It's not direct war. It's you basically being a puppet master and guiding war in other places for your better interests. You know, for your country's interests. But your country actually isn't technically at war, and there's no war in your country.
So another thing that that a lot of people have to understand when it comes to this story is that Soelimani prepared younger lieutenants for if he were to pass away or for different positions. He posted these younger lieutenants in vital posts across Iran and Iraq and all this other stuff to basically get them to help alleviate the change of power if it was to happen, or you know, just to make sure that the process of this war continues, I guess. You know what I mean?
I heard Dr. John Henry Clark call that "bury the man, continue the plan." Right, where it's like if I'm gone, there's people on deck to do whatever, and you know that those two again. Like I'm trying to find a good hip hop equivalent between Iraq and Iran, where it's just like the beef has always been there, but then there have been moments where they'll work together. Like I can't find an equivalent right now, but like there's a lot of bad blood, but then there's also been moments where their interests come together, like you talked about in 2001, and this is definitely a moment where the bad blood gets tested even more for things to be escalated. You know what I'm saying? Because you're right, because like this person was like a hero. And matter of fact, some newscaster was like, almost, somebody said it'd be like the equivalent of killing Pence. Somebody on one of the news networks said that like it's that high in terms of like, you know, how somebody is like respected and revered, who again has a lot of dirt, but we also have to know that the U.S. has their dirt with how they've interacted with Iran.
They have a relationship with Iran. They have a relationship with this person, man. They actually worked with this man in 2001, so that must be known. Do not forget about this, man. This is
much like your boy. What's your boy's name? Osama was worked with, you know what I'm saying?
Like all that,
you know, Saddam was worked with, you know what I'm saying?
This is nothing new. You know what I mean? So within 12 hours of this Soleimani's passing, we have a new leader that heads the Quds forces in Iran. He goes by the name of Ismail Khani or Kwani. Right. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
It's all good. Forgive our Arabic phonetics. You know what I'm saying? Like we still learning.
So that's what I have in a nutshell, man.
So you know, there's been talks about them taking revenge, and they actually said it may not be immediate. It may be down the line. You'll see they said like you'll see the revenge. When I say they, I'm talking about like Iranian officials. Okay. You'll see the revenge over time. Yep. Right. Which is just a crazy thing of just like back and forth. I got my dirt, you got your dirt. I'm gonna pretend like but we're both gonna pretend like we don't have dirt on each other, ain't done dirty things to each other. They've even gone back, because again, this is old, like even back to the 50s. Yeah. Because you know, United States did Operation Ajax, where they basically, you know, staged a coup in a democratically elected Iran. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, Iran has been mad about that for the past 60, 70 years. Okay. So, you know, there's a lot of back and forth. They do a little dirt. Again, it's just like, literally, it's just like gang culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you push a little bit, they push a little bit.
It's like what nations
pretend goes. Like, exactly. You pretend like, you know, y'all ain't doing foul stuff. The other person's doing more foul stuff than the other one. Really, both y'all doing a lot of dirt. And y'all just push at each other until somebody win. And that's how they've been moving for at least 60 or so years. So
I would feel like the targets when they do oppose a revenge on U.S. man, military areas or military bases in Africa is gonna probably be the first to feel that revenge, man. I don't know. It's crazy though.
Because I agree. I think that what they will do is neither country will commit assaults on the other country's direct land,
Yeah.
right? So Iran isn't gonna, bang on the United States in the United States. The United States isn't going to bang on or in Iran, but they will go to those other proxy places to like possibly have violence occur. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Which is kind of what's been happening anyway, but it just may be tested. And there actually, I guess, was a report from the PMF that said one of our sites got there was an airstrike on one of their sites.
That was before the assassination of Soelimani.
That was right before it. Oh,
that's what I'm saying, on the cusp. Or I don't know, like
right.
There was an airstrike in Iran, though, I believe.
Right.
It was a big story. Go ahead, though.
No. So, but this just goes back to the point where this is what they do. You know what I'm saying? They push. They fall back a little bit. They push, they fall back a little bit. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is how folks operate and behave. How much of this do you think is like because, people are blaming or putting this like on Trump and saying that this was something that was just like a little bit too far and there was a faux pas on Trump and Pompeo. How much of this was standard military operation? In other words, would this happen in the Obama?
No. I don't think it would have. I don't think it would have happened in the Obama administration.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Obama was had a connection with Muslims, right? Even though he might have been Christian, I believe he was he was under the religion of Muslim when he was younger.
I mean, I don't know how that might be true, but his name is like, what I'm saying, Barack Hussein Obama. You know what I'm saying, like. So, I mean, and he made it clear he extended like a hand out to the Muslim world.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying, a friendly hand, even though he also was doing the standard U.S. like gang banging. You know what I'm saying? Smoother, I guess.
Can't go against the Pentagon.
Yeah.
But right. Hopefully things are not. You know what I mean? I don't want to speak too much on this stuff. It's just crazy, man. War is not the answer, but what can I say?
Yeah.
But
sure.
Next on the syllabus, though.
So next we got to talk about civics education. You know what I'm saying? Which you know what I'm saying. You mentioned how you don't want to talk about it, but this is important civics. You know what I'm saying? This is important civics, right? Civics education. So
let's go.
Did you have civics education in high school?
Nope, never took a civics course in my life ever.
I didn't either. Products of the Rochester City School District. You know what I'm saying? We did not have any civics education. Not to say that there weren't good things about it, but that was something that was critical and key that I know I did not have. And so why are we bringing this up other than being an education thing? Your boy, Chief Justice John, I always say your boy even if the person don't know or the person is just like not somebody you favor, but your boy, Chief Justice John Roberts, recently said this, and I quote, I want to make sure I have the quote correct. So he had said that promoting civic education is necessary in a time when misinformation can spread rapidly online, and warned Americans, quote, have come to take democracy for granted, right? So that's his thinkings and thoughts around why civic education is important. So for those who don't know, civics education is basically understanding the policies and the politics and the rules that govern America, and possibly, if you're doing it in a deep way, the world, right? And a lot of us did not get that kind of education. We just talked about how we didn't get direct education about unless it was in history class and it was indirect, like the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? Like state constitutions, right? Different policies that are in place.
I don't think they ever talked about state constitutions in high school.
No way, shape, or form.
But learning about local governments, federal governments, state governments, as well as citizenry. I mean citizenship. Things of that nature.
So Chief Justice John Roberts brought that up, and he's right. Unless in the internet age, it's easy for misinformation to be spread, right? The internet has allowed for a lot of information to be accessed, but it also has allowed for a lot of misinformation and fake news, as Donald Trump likes to say, but also give all the time, to be, popular. So, but the one thing I would say about Justice John Roberts is he did not say that public education was the answer to civic education. He talked about what the judges could be doing, you know what I'm saying, to make their mission of informed
informing citizens of
informing
civics.
Exactly. He did that. He said that, but didn't necessarily come up with direct solutions either. Didn't mention public education.
He did mention. I mean, I know out of one of the articles I read about Chief Justice Roberts, he did mention mock.
That he did. Facts.
Simulations of
mock trials.
Civics.
Peace to brother Craig, who does that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Craig Payne, you know brother Craig, right?
That Diallo?
Diallo, exactly. My man, he does mock trials with the kids in the city of Rochester.
That's cool,
so him and attorney Greg Solomon. So peace to y'all brothers for doing what y'all do. But he did not acknowledge that. But then he didn't talk about like how he would support that on local levels and public education levels when there's already civics education that's supposed to be happening in public education. But man, I found out that there's this report that Education Week did. I found out that only 8 states require students to take year-long civics in order to graduate. There are other.
Georgia is one of them, right? Georgia used to be one of them.
I'm not sure which ones are which. You know what I'm saying? But like, I
don't know.
You know, the course is only required in 36 states. It's required to graduate in 19 states, but the course, a whole year course, with it being a requirement for graduation, right, is only common in 8 states. It only happens in 8 states. So,
and I would guess those states, most of those states would be Republican or conservative states. Red states.
So you think red states encourage civic engagement?
Yes, more? I do. Yes, I do. Because they red states tend to stick closely to being conservative rather than liberal. They also are into the Constitution more, you know what I mean? With that being said, I would think like they would be more into government citizenship.
Which I mean, whatever. But to your point though, John Roberts, he himself is a Republican, right? And to his credit, you know, Trump has also got mad at him for like acting like he's an Obama judge, but old boy was like, there is no Obama judge, there is no Trump judge, there is no Clinton judge, there's just independent judging, and he's a champion, or he's professed the desire to make sure that the judges act independent federally of whatever the president is trying to do.
Yeah, he's against
but he is a Republican though. He is conservative.
Alignment of he's against some people that's into political alignments and stuff like that.
Right. So I mean, you know, so to his credit, that's important, and I can see that. But at the same time, it does make me think, right? So if civics is a Republican value, what's going to happen so let's say that, you know, civics education and public education started to be taken seriously, which again, that particular judge did not offer as a solution. What's going to happen when you start to expand the requirements of civics education and you start to make it really mean something, as opposed, instead of just like reading a textbook about what rules and laws are, but you're actually exploring things like how the Constitution does not promise education. There's nothing in the Constitution that promises education as an unalienable right. So when you start to actually dig into these areas and kids start to understand that, is your conservatism going to be a problem when kids start to actually advocate for themselves? In other words, when civics education actually starts to mean something and they want to be activists, whether it's about you know, the Constitution not having education, whether it's about them wanting to understand impeachment of a Republican president, that's civics, right? Okay. And you could even do it in a nonpartisan way because Bill Clinton has also been impeached, right? But are you, as a conservative, potentially conservative teacher, going to be comfortable enough with understanding or allowing the conversation to happen around impeachment with a Republican president in place? You know what I'm saying? So the actual civics education is going to make everybody from teachers, principals, and community members upset and uncomfortable with kids actually gaining their own power. You know what I'm saying?
And really
understanding what the system is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's all about understanding what the system is. I don't know how much time we got, man, but
we got time. We good.
Yeah, we talk about who chooses the presidents. You know what I mean? We talk about electoral college. We talk about popular votes. We talk about it's so much stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff, man. But civics will really do justice. If you understand civics, I'm telling you, you will know how to navigate as a citizen within these states, within these local governments, a lot easier. Trust me, man.
Indeed.
Like a lot of you guys picking the president, y'all going off. going out voting for presidents and all that, man.
Right, but like your vote is diluted.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? By electoral college.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like this past presidency or whatever, between Mr. Trump and Mrs. Hillary, right? Hillary won the popular vote while Trump won the electoral college. Who became president? Right, the one with the most electoral college votes.
And same with George Bush. You know what I'm saying? And Al Gore. Al Gore had more popular votes, but you know George Bush won the election because of the electoral college. It's when students young people figure out, like, wait a minute, it's not one person one vote. It's like one person one vote and one perspective, right? And one potential bias, like, that just gets thrown in there, you know, for at least the president, right? Not so much with like municipality stuff. Like, that's gonna make some folks upset and make young people want to change the system, which is contrary to some of the public education norms, right? Because you know, public education has frequently done more to sustain how a system is in America as opposed to changing it. So if you actually truly engage in civics, they'll explore things like that, right? They'll explore even education law, where some of these kids who are supposed to be getting services and rights respected, like, they're going to understand that their rights aren't being respected on a consistent basis.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, you got to know the laws of a citizen, man.
Indeed. So with that being said, let's hop right into this last syllabus element. Peace to all the folks listening. Keese, who's a former student at Doug, you know what I'm saying? Peace to Charles Miller, you know what I'm saying? Peace to that amazing artist, you know what I'm saying? If you haven't checked out The Healing Process, please check it out.
I'm trying to get Assassination now.
It was a spiritual healing, not necessarily the herbal healing. I know you, Mr. Health is Wealth, you know what I'm saying?
I'm out here a lot of meat, dog.
So, speaking of health, I was about to try to tie health and beef, but it didn't work. But you know how Uncle Murda and Madd Skillz have had this competition of like the wrap-ups, the yearly wrap-up songs in hip-hop. For every year, they rap about the things that have gone on over the year. They dropped it like almost right after New Year's. You know what I'm saying? Because we was looking for it before New Year's. We couldn't find him, but we found him after. You know what I'm saying? So Uncle Murda, Madd Skillz, they did songs about the end of the year. What are your thoughts about them, man?
I mean, I love both songs. I love both artists overall. But I feel like I probably will sway towards Uncle Murda's song a little bit more, you know what I mean? Just because it's more amp, you know, the way he just put the words together is a little bit more appealing to me, you know what I mean? But I love Madd Skillz too. You know what I mean? I just bump with the Uncle Murda joint because it's just more rhythmic. I don't know, it's just more hyped up to me, man, I guess. More hyper.
And I'll be honest with you, while I respect both as MCs, very talented MCs, I always want to, I think I said this last year, but I always kind of want the originator to come out on top. You know what I'm saying? Because that was Madd Skillz' idea first.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, and while Uncle Murda has always given Madd Skillz credit for being the first one to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, with this competition, I always want the originator to kind of, you know, come out on top a bit, but with both of them putting out dope product. But I gotta say, this is my second year where I felt like Uncle Murda had something that I enjoyed more. You know what I'm saying? And because for similar reasons what you said, you know what I'm saying? Like the energy, like I felt like overall, it was like Madd Skillz was like, he had a criticism that was cultural and political. A couple moments that made you think and reflect. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's it called? Uncle Murda, he tied the political, the cultural, and the street really well, all in the same time. You know what I'm saying? Both of them came at Tekashi. You know what I'm saying? Both of them
talk
similarities. Yeah, exactly. Both of them talk about the Popeye's chicken sandwich. You know what I'm saying? The impeachment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know.
But like I felt like, to your point, like Uncle Murda had more, just a few more moments of like insight and controversy, because you know he started off dissing K. Michelle again. You know what I'm saying?
And it's comedic. It was a lot of comedic value in it too. Man, I loved all of that, man.
Both of them had really strong joints. I suggest everybody check out both of them joints.
And of course, Uncle Murda's song was a little bit longer. It's 10 minutes long versus 4 minutes or 5 minutes of
indeed
Skillz 2019 wrap up. But I mean, I enjoy both of them. I just feel like you know, Uncle Murda joints was just looking crazy.
Yeah. And I feel like Uncle Murda gets better every year at like having a flow on those songs. Like his flow is more sturdy.
Yeah, the flow on this one was smooth.
Yeah,
like, it was
flow is way more sturdy.
Off.
You know what I'm saying? So he's getting better and better with that. And he also, he shouted out Griselda.
Yeah. Come on.
So I was like, salute Uncle Murda for that.
He knew they had the best year. They had the best year.
Yeah,
come on. Basically, that's what he said in the song, man.
Indeed.
They had the best year, man.
Yep, indeed.
Without the mumble rap.
You know what I'm saying? He got at Kanye a bit. You know what I'm saying? Just criticizing his decision to go
about
religious.
Gucci. They talked about all kinds of stuff, man. Man, there was a lot going on.
Indeed, they both got at Drake.
The
Drake being booed. You know what I'm saying?
What else, man? What else was interesting, man?
They both got at Hot Girl Summer and Meg. I didn't know they was like. They said they was sucking on cucumbers.
Whoa.
I didn't know all that. I was like. You know what I'm saying? Like there be parts of the year in them songs that I didn't even catch. So I was like, "What?"
First
I heard Uncle Murda say that.
Definitely going down.
And then I heard Skillz say it. I was like, "Oh, this is real."
Yeah, this is going down, man. I think it was it might have been a challenge, man, one time too.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Wow, that's wild. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? So So, do you think that Uncle Murda and Skillz will ever collaborate?
Together? I would love for that to happen. I ain't gonna lie. I would love for that to happen, but I don't think it's gonna happen, man. What's his name's the elder statesman? He might be a little stubborn with it. Remember, they actually wanted him to do a collab with Uncle Murda, and he refused to do it.
Why would I collab on something I created?
And he made that known in the Uncle Graham, Murdagram.
Yeah.
Uncle Graham. Murdagram, you know what I mean? So he made that known in Murdagram. So I mean, from his own word, from his own mouth, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean that'd be dope, but I also understand his position. You know what I'm saying? We're in a new era where
he's an elder statesman.
He's an elder statesman, and he comes from that era where you don't, ride with other people's ideas. You know what I'm saying? That I understand, but think about it. Think about
ideas
it.
Is original, man.
The era he comes from, you know what I'm saying? Ghost and Ray got at Biggie and them for having an album cover with a child on it, the same way Nas did. You know what I'm saying? This is the era, like, people were always protective of their ideas.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And if there was a violation, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was made known on wax or in person. So that's the era he comes from. And I can see how Uncle Murda, like, he gave props. You know what I'm saying? He never was like, yo, this is my idea, the rapper. He said, I remember on a Vlad TV interview, it was like, yo, like, this came from the rapper Madd Skillz, a rapper that, real talk, that a lot of people are always giving props to.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He has always slept on.
Ghostwriter, come on now. He ghostwritten for a lot of rappers, a lot of entertainers, man. So he's definitely a legend in the game.
Very much a legend that does not always get his due. Uncle Murda made sure he got his due. And has his own, Uncle Murda has his own comedy, his own take on it. You know what I'm saying? And so I can see how in this new era, like, especially if you give him props, like, it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I can also see if you come from a particular era, you want to hold on to, like, the fact that you made it. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would be dope if they did one together.
Yeah, I hope so, man. Hopefully, Skillz changes his mind, man.
Yeah.
And that will come to fruition, man. That would be cool.
For sure. But y'all just got done listening to the first episode of Cypher Scholars in 2020. Again, we are Cypher Scholars, part education, part hip-hop, all culture. You can catch us every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2 on 104.3 Wayo FM. You can also catch us on Facebook and other modes of social media. Peace and progress to you.
Shit.